How to get a good high paying job in AI, machine learning, generative AI, or related fields like data engineering, data analysis, or cloud, whether it's AWS Cloud, Azure Cloud, Google Cloud, in as short as few weeks, ranging from 4 to 6 to 8 weeks max. I'm going to cover all in this video using a methodology called as reverse engineering. You might, and before you become judgmental or start objecting and thinking in your mind, oh, but I don't have any programming or coding knowledge, oh, I don't have any experience, or I have not done any certification, or I'm from this background, or that problem or this problem. Trust me, if you stay tuned on this by watch till end of this video, I'll understand why I'm saying and how I'm saying as well. But before we move forward on, if you're new to this or channel or myself, let me give a background to say why I'm qualified enough to say all this thing and how I've done exactly for myself and 44,000 individuals like you to achieve this. Give you a little bit context. I've been working on IT for close to now 2.5 decades, and I've used the same reverse engineering methodology to first moving. Once I moved here in UK, I'm primarily from India. I moved from India to UK in 2004, and I use the same methodology to first get a contracting job earning from 2,400 pounds a month to in excess of 10,000 pounds a month here in UK, and a contracting to 425 pounds a contract rate. I use the same methodology to go from then move into cloud back in 2000, DevOps and cloud back in 2011-12, and then on multi-cloud, and the last few years and been on AI, machine learning, and generative AI. So when I talk about this, I'll give you two contexts or two things which you should be doing, and I'll later part I'm going to explain this by using a person who has been. I've taught him this person, and we're going to use him so you understand this thing as well. So first thing what you need to do is you identify and say, go to the job portal, your ideal dream job, and in the job portal, different job portal will explain you. You'll need two things. First is you need to prepare or go to the job portal and say what a potential employee is looking for in those jobs, and then prepare a good resume based on the job description, even if you don't know those things, and have trust and faith on me. And I said, by end of this video, you will understand how the complete methodology. Second thing is you need to be preparing your LinkedIn result or LinkedIn profile based on future proofing yourself for 2 months down the line. What you already assume, you already know those things. Now, how to identify what to write in your resume, how to what to do in your LinkedIn, we're going to cover, or you can use the tools like ChatGPT and other things as well. And so what I've done is in this video, I'm going to be pointing you to a video which has been taken from our program, where I've explained the same thing of a person who recently joined the program and given the whole methodology as well. Now, once you watch this video, trust me, watch this maybe 2 times or 3 times. And if you still have any doubts or questions on this video, I have a free community for AI professionals or techies in AI, generative AI, machine learning professionals. In that, bring that point and tell me that this is the doubt you have. So let's suppose you might say, hey, but I don't have any experience. And that's exactly what we're going to cover. You see what employer is asking, and only those parts, those hands-on lab, perform them in the form of hands-on lab and project work, and go and apply for the interview or go and appear for the interview. But you start applying early enough for those jobs. Similarly, you might say, oh, I don't have any coding or programming knowledge. You don't need a coding and programming. I have tons and tons of guys who have done this. I don't have a certification. You don't need a certification for that. I'll cover all these things in that. So have trust on, watch this video till the end, watch that and repeat, and bring down all the questions you have. Either leave them below the video or join the community, which is absolutely free. We have 100+ members. We recently started 2 days back, and now at the time of recording this video, and so we already have 100+ members. So you can bring your question there and say, I've watched this video, this is a URL, and this is where I have a question. In my case, bring your case, share me your LinkedIn profile, and as well as the resume on that particular thing and kind of a job you want to do. I'll be personally, depending on the how much bandwidth I have or how many guys we do, but first 5 for sure I'll review, give them the critique what you should be doing exactly in our community. So join that community by going to k2academy.com/AI for artificial intelligence AI community, and watch this video. In that video, I've basically obfuscated the details because of the privacy reasons. I've obfuscated the details of the person, gentleman here, but I've given him feedback on things like the LinkedIn profile, how you update, how do you update your resume, where to find for the jobs, and then use the ChatGPT prompts, which is again GenAI. Use that to prepare a LinkedIn profile and so on. Any doubts, any questions, put it in, and towards the end I'll also yeah, so just go and watch and let me know whatever constructive positive feedback or even if it's a negative, as long as it's a constructive feedback, what objections come into your mind, do let me know as well. With that, let's go and watch that video now here. Hey guys, this is Atul from Team K21 Academy, and in this video, I'm going to do a review of this gentleman for Azure AI machine learning job oriented, though he's focused on Azure AI and machine learning focused, but that same principle or same things can be used whether it's AWS AI/ML or generic AI/ML, or in fact for the same reason for other jobs as well. So take it as a very on a high level what all things an employer should be looking and how you can proceed and look at if you're preparing for the jobs, both in terms of resume as well as your LinkedIn. Both should be tweaked and modified and changed in order to get an optimal result. Even though you might be successful, you can do much better if you improve on those focus on those points as well. And for that, first and most important, I'll give you some pointers on what you need to do as a prerequisite, and then use that to top it up with what I'm going to cover here in this video with specific to for him what I'm talking about. So first is, if you go to the classroom, your beginning and starting point should be interview prep. This is the one which you should be starting with if you're looking for interview preparation sessions. So this is where I've done, if you've not gone through, go through step 1 on guide for job preparation, interview preparation, and how to search for the jobs. And then I've given, then also once that's done, then also go through these reviews I've done in the past, and I probably might add this one here as well for this on a review. So maybe have a look at that reviews of others as well. That will give you an idea about. Also go through some must-read job prep. Basically, these interview questions, depending on what you're doing, you look at all of these. Also, there's a country-wise job roles, etc. as well. So these are the handy things, but these definitely minimum resume review and those things. Now, second thing is, if you've applied for the jobs and if you're not getting interview calls, second thing, once you've done this, second thing you should be looking at the LinkedIn, which I'll tell you in a minute. But if you've done resume, if you've done LinkedIn, if you're still not getting interview calls, then you come into this question, which is apply for the job but not getting interview calls. Go through this video, prepare a sheet, a Google sheet on this in this format. Make sure that you give us a permission, a read permission, and then how to give a read permission again is covered in this video, so we can review and give you critique. But make sure that you follow these things before you come to this point, because otherwise you'll be wasting your time and my time. Will be repeating the same thing. So number 1 is about this. Second thing is, then you go back to the classroom once you've done the interview prep. Go to the LinkedIn prep here, and then make sure that you update your LinkedIn profile based on what some of the things that you've done suggested here, and also using some of the ChatGPT prompts in terms of especially what you write on the subject line heading line here, about page, which is already looks pretty impressive to me, but we can definitely do improve, which I'll explain you on this in this case here as well. So use some of those ChatGPT on how. So also the banner image, like this banner image already looks talk directly, which is data and AI architect. So I don't think you can do anything, or I personally like this simple to the point. It points the GitHub link as well, so pretty strong on that. It also talks about AI. If you look at here, it talks about Azure data tools. I can, if I'm and someone who's working on, I can easily correlate that. It looks like the person knows it's Azure Data Factory, Azure OpenAI, Synapse, SQL databases, or SQL databases, and so all these things looks, heading image looks good. If you don't have, maybe use this video on to look at the images as well. Also, I've done some profile review, and on Neha's review, I've done this in the past, where I've said, oh, look at this, what needs to be updated or changed based on headline, about section, experience section, all those things you should be doing and writing. But to be frank, the heading and this looks good. I might looking at AI enthusiast is also looks good, but I probably might like write down, if the ultimate job role is to write or become an AI architect, maybe I'll write down, instead of AI enthusiast, probably I might write as an AI architect. We'll talk about it, we'll look into that as well, but we'll do the full review of this one. So do these two things. From a LinkedIn point of view, come and look at and review some of these things. Review other. Dave also did a review, his review, and in future you might see those reviews. You probably might see, look at as well. Also, recently there was a LinkedIn session we did. This was no 23. There should be a LinkedIn session that more coming here. Yeah, this is us talking about LinkedIn, these two optimization sessions. So session two and these two sessions, have a look at these as well. So that will be for LinkedIn profile as well. Now, once that's done, then if you're specific to AI machine learning, which in this case this gentleman is, for AI and machine learning, we have one more. Once you've done the basics of a resume, once you've done the basics of LinkedIn, then you come and look at job prep for AI and machine learning and look at some of these things as well in terms of ChatGPT prompts specific to like these prompts on here, and some of these prompts will be helpful for you. Also, what are some of the job sites available in specific to each of these countries as well? What are the job roles available? One of the question was, oh, can I get a job role without coding development? Yes, and these are some of the job roles you worth looking at here as well. So that's another thing you should be looking, and we'll be uploading more and more sample resume depending on your background and what you do. So you'll be getting some sample resumes as well. So this is on a high level, just basic prerequisite work you might have done. Now let's look at this resume which is prepared. So first of all, I like the name, very straightforward, straight LinkedIn profile. So I can click and connect with LinkedIn, which is good, which probably have already opened. A phone number, email address, and a GitHub. If you don't have a GitHub, don't need to worry about it. It's not mandatory, but it's nice to have if something you have as well. Now, this subject line, these lines, these core competencies, all those things we'll look at, but always, now you have a chat GPT handy. So come to the chat GPT here and then give a prompt like, hey, rate the below resume for Azure AI. Now, write down, change these things according to the profile you're looking for. If you're looking for AWS, or you don't want to be limited to this particular role, you might be open just a AI ML architect or a developer or an engineer or DevOps, or maybe in say any job in AI machine learning or AI only. You can change that also in the country and suggest improvements that grabs potential employers and recruiters attention, and always keep different tweaks, whatever change or things that you want to play with this. And what I've done is I've copy pasted the entire resume here in this case, and I've got some useful information. The overall resume presents good experience, strong experience, but it has some of the key improvements. Now immediately you got attention or key improvement targeted for. Now this is context is very, very important. So in this case, as your AI architect role, so probably we'll be writing more about in experience in the field of AI. And now someone might say, oh, but AI has been for a number of years. But you can say when you say 10, overall 10 years experience, you're not just doing AI, but you're talking in the context of solution architect, cloud, with strong credentials on Azure AI ML. So if you look at first point, paragraph itself, I will write technology solution with AI architect with over 10 years experience designing, implement technology solutions, technical support, ensuring integration, all those things. But I'll write down more on AI machine learning, which is given the second line. I probably might put it into this, or you can also say, hey, change this as per the AI machine. That's first paragraph, but though it's already there's some really good key points here. Azure AI services, AI search, OpenAI. I will also write down probably machine learning studio if you have done the machine learning studio. If not, then don't do it or don't write it. But in the training program we've given, I will also write something like machine learning operations, MLOps, which is quite extensively designing machine learning operations, pipelines, and those as well. So have a look at this, optimizing this summary, what all things you probably might change here. Now, another thing you will hear some of those feedbacks, for example, in project sections, it's asking, saying that add some numbers in terms of resolution time by 25% through automated ticketing classification using Mistral 7B. Now, if you are going very specific like that, then be prepared to get questions on that. So prepare the answers and say, how did you calculate that it has reduced the ticket resolution by 25%? Again, we'll be asking ChatGPT and say, hey, if someone asked me this, what could be the potential answer I can give based on this question which I've come across. Also, let's suppose classification, if you used Mistral 7B, you need to be familiar with what is Mistral 7B. The more specific you go, it gives confidence to the recruiter as well as the employer or the interviewer that but make sure you understand and learn those things. So focus on all those things and do what you think is right. Whatever you feel comfortable, do those as well. So this is overall points like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one more chat prompt, which we've already seen, and say, let me pause this and then I'll put the chat prompt and I'll point this LinkedIn profile and say, suggest me improvement on this point here. So if you notice there, I went into the chat GPT on our LinkedIn and useful chat GPT prompt. I picked up this suggest changes below, and instead of this, I've changed. Let me show it to you. What I did was I suggest changes in below LinkedIn profile to look expert in Azure AI architect with extensive experience in data, cloud, Azure, focus on and then focus on AI and generative AI basically, and appointed the LinkedIn profile. And now, if you look at, if I suggest the headline and instead of current, if you look at and compare, current is one we have headline is AI enthusiast, solution architect, this, and whereas what it suggested is that Azure AI architect suggests new is Azure AI architect, and then generative AI and cloud expert, data and AI solution architect, 10 years experience in AI machine learning and Azure cloud. Now this headline will look more expertise and shows expertise in AI, generative AI, and with very clear highlight on this. Now do it only if you feel comfortable, if you think what you're writing, but feel free to tweak changes and suggest and change here if you're not comfortable with any of that. Also in about section, we'll be doing more about is highlighting experience with respect to Azure AI, data architecture, generative AI. So here it is suggested now experienced AI architect. You need to shout out, and sometimes it looks like we don't know to show off. But if you don't speak your authority, how will someone know and understand about you? So always be confident and say I'm without sounding like like you're bragging or showing off, but it should be you should at least talk about your experience and things which is right looks right. A architect with 10 years experience in cloud-based these services, and and then you write down your expertise include in these things as well. And if you've done certifications, please highlight that. If not, inside the program, in our AI machine learning program, we'll be covering AI 102, DP 100, which is for data science. And we also have other programs where we cover solution architect if you're not part of solution architect and so on. If you have other certifications, please by all means definitely add those as well on, and just go through this, write down all of these things, probably pause, record. I'll probably might put or maybe use your own ChatGPT prompt as well. So that's another suggestions I would do on for LinkedIn as well. Now, one final thing is about then we'll look at is in terms of job search. So what I'm going to do is there's already a lot of content on how to search for jobs, especially for this. But the best starting point I'm going to go on is always Google. And then we can always go to sites like Indeed and all the other sites which I've given inside this in your program. So if you go inside Classroom and then go for Azure AI machine learning, uh, job and resume prep for Azure AI ML. This is much more specific which I've given. Go there and then look at the job sites related to AI machine learning. Go to these job sites specific to your country. Now, these are all common, which doesn't need to be specific to your country. But then if you're specific to US, if those are in US, you can look into these. If you're in Canada, look for these. If you're in UK, look at these. India, look at these. And if you think that something is different, you need to change, or if you think something is missing or not worth, just let us know so we can improve on those as well. So now going back to, as I said, you can always search on, but always search for Azure AI machine learning architect jobs or Azure AI architect job or something similar. And if you look at, I'm just going to pick one or two, but rest all you need know and understand. Now, always change your resume as per the job description. And another question I comes is, hey, but I don't have that knowledge. Don't worry, write it down and come to us and say, hey, I'm applying for this job, and how can I get experience or knowledge in that? And we should definitely have some hands-on lab or the project work for that. Otherwise, we'll create that hands-on lab or project work for you. So if I go and click on this job, Azure AI ML architect, this looks good to me, and I'm going to look at, and they're looking for they also looking for Databricks development platform, Databricks experience. So do a lab on Databricks. Now, Databricks is not part of AIML. We covered this in our Azure Data Engineering. Um, uh, which is DP203, if I'm not wrong. So look at that, but make sure you do Databricks here. They're also looking for, it's more on Databricks, but then also Delta Lake, PySpark, I think we're covering inside this. Python, we're covering all these things, Azure Data Factory. But this gentleman already knows about it. Also, hands-on experience in on these machine learning. We already have these machine learning models, which again are covered. Let me show it to you again. All these things that you probably we're looking for is should already be here. So if you go to Classroom, and then if you go Azure AIML generative AI basics, and that is where I'm going to cover these under these basics. So for example, these what are the models? Hold on, let me see. no, this is MLOps, key terminologies. This is where you will have all these machine learning methods, supervised, unsupervised learning, all those things that you will see. And anything that you think is required, and if it's not there, just let us know, please. As long as related to that particular topic, we'll definitely cover. So make sure you pick up and you pick this and say, I'm going to say, pick up this whole job, and this is the title, and then we'll go to the chat GPT again and say, update my I've already submitted this update or suggest changes in my resume based on this job. So let me pause this for now. So if you notice what I did, I gave a prompt and saying suggest changes in resume. I shared earlier, so I already shared the resume and said based on this below job description, suggest me all the changes, and I'll give you the changes, and whatever you feel comfortable. Don't write if you're not comfortable. Write only if you're comfortable. And another common question is, but I don't know this. Don't worry, we will teach you. We will, as long as you're ready to learn, which you should be, and do the hands-on lab, things will become much more clear. So right, for example, it's showing what this is the current one, and then it's also telling you based on this, change it accordingly. If you notice now, we've highlighted Databricks, AI services, Synapse, because they're asking. In that, they're also asking about Databricks machine learning platform. They're also looking for Python and PySpark. Both Python and PySpark are inside the program. Let me just show it to you. You just come here and you search for PySpark, and we've covered, I think, PySpark both in PySpark on yeah. So I think we've covered this both on PySpark, and we PySpark on AWS and PySpark on Azure. This should be on Azure as well, PySpark on Azure, and we'll cover these basics and so on. Similarly, Python should already be there inside for you. So everything that you probably 99% chances are that they will be there. If not, we will create for you as long as related to that particular job role, AI, machine learning, and so on. Now, so these again, it basically will give you the changes, suggestions that you need to do, update them, and then third thing is once you get an interview selection, then how to prepare for the interview questions. I'll cover that as well, because while on this and say I'll pause this and I'll give you another prompt this, and we'll be going to put all these prompts inside this job prep session that you have, which is under, if you go to classroom, and we'll go under, most probably I'll put it into this interview prep under useful prompts. There will be some link here. Um, ChatGPT prompt, I'll put it here. If you notice now, I've said that suggest interview questions based on the above job description shared, or job description, which I already gave job description above. And what ChatGPT does is, I'm on a paid version. It's totally worth. It's just $20 per month, and it might be available in the free version as well. But I always tend to look at the latest version of ChatGPT. So here, if you look at it, say I've just asked and say suggest the interview question based on the above job description. I always shared the job description, and as long as in the same thread or same chat, it'll give you the response. Now if it's like, can you explain how do you design and implemented scalable solution on Azure Databricks platform? Also, these are related to data cloud and Databricks related questions. Then it might be machine learning questions, data engineering questions, microservices containers. And then the good part and beauty part is that you can even ask answers and say, if you are an interviewee, how would you answer questions like these? So maybe I'll pick up another question here and say, pretend, let me hold on. So if you notice now, I asked the chat GPT, how would you respond to the question? So you got the questions now on that, and you can even ask and say, how would you respond to these questions based on become the person in the on the LinkedIn profile I shared based on that. And then and then I posted the question, and then I got a response, and you can tweak it, change it, something is not clear. That's how you can learn from ChatGPT as well, and that's how you should be preparing for the interviews. So first thing, your first focus should be, oh, hold on, let me finish this first because it's very interesting, and something more interesting is going to come, and I'm going to more prompts as well. So you get the answer, and then try to understand these answers as well, and go deeper into with ChatGPT itself. Now, once you get an answer, then you can further ask and say, share the follow-up question, because Intuit is not going to ask just one question and move on to the next question and next question. Based on your answer, they might have some follow-up questions. So then we need to ask and say, hey, share the follow-up question, some follow-up question I can expect by the interviewer based on the answers I've given above, and it'll give you lot of other questions as well based on the follow-up question. And again, you can ask and say, by the way, okay, fine, then how can I answer this question as well? And that way, that particular topic which an interview is asking, you will learn a tons and tons of things. Now, if you don't have any basic concepts about what is Delta Lake or Lake House or whatever they are asking in this particular case, we have extensive hands-on labs. But again, this Delta Lake, Lake House, this profile that I think we saw was more about data engineering, but we cover all these things in a data engineering, so you can get it. I'm just talking about from an AI machine learning point of view. But do the hands-on lab, do the project work, things will become much clear to you as well. And based on that, you can go on and ask questions, and you'll learn ton of information from this. So that's I think that's just on a high level which I wanted to explain. This is again, we are touching the surface. We are just on a tip of the iceberg. We're going to go deeper on interview preparations, and that's how we have tons and tons of guys who get a job. And I'll share some of these things probably in our weekly QA question answers, and you'll be getting results on that. So with that, it's a short, quick recording on video on about how you can get what to do if you're in a situation like that. If you have any follow-up questions, leave them under comment section. I'll open a thread so you can ask questions in that thread. If you have any questions and related to this, which I've mentioned, any feedback, any constructive feedback, any questions comes to your mind, please do that, but put them under comment section. With that, this is Atul from Team K2 Academy. Thanks for if you've done all the homework, and if you want us to review your resume or your LinkedIn profile, please do share. But share it with the support channel, and I'll be glad and will be glad to help you. For now, take care. This is Atul signing out. Take care. Well, that was a case study which I was discussing for one of our members inside the community. But you might have a lot of doubts and questions after watching this, maybe this or that or that. Now, go to this community, which is k2academy.com/AI community. Link to this post and say resume and LinkedIn review. I'll definitely do for the first 5. I don't know how many people are going to send this. So first 5 for sure. So be the first one to go there and with the subject line and join this community. It's absolutely free. Give me the video, link of this video where you watch this, plus then your LinkedIn profile and resume, and I'll give you the critique like this and give you this feedback like this. But also tell me what objections you have, so that because it's more about his mindset. I've realized after helping thousands of guys, including myself, it's more about is how I think and talk and how confident am I. Getting a job is easy and simple provided you're sincere, which I'm assuming you are if you watch this video till now, and if you're really serious about this job, which can help you earning a lot of money as well. So go and join this community, let me know, and I'll make sure that I provide the feedback in similar. If don't forget to share, basically share this video if you find it useful for someone else, and let's help each other and grow together. Take care and bye for now.